While making another video, I decided to do a quick review on the Hornady Match 195 grain 300 Win Mag ammo that they had at my local gun shop here. As you can see, it was $56.99. Generally would not buy factory ammunition like this, but I figured I'd give it a shot actually, and I'm actually really impressed. And again, 195 grain ELD match. I did in fact tear one of these down. I've got all the specs written down. I'll give you that in just a moment. But I have the Savage 110 Precision Elite rifle here. It's a factory rifle, and got a Vortex Strike Eagle on top there. This gun shoots really, really well. And I also have my brand new, first time I've ever used it today, Garmin Zero C1 chronograph. Normally I use the lab radar there. It came along for the ride here, but I wanted to use this guy, but that's only there as a backup, but I'm not going to need it. This thing is absolutely fantastic, by the way. Yeah, so 5-shot group here. I've got a couple of specs there for you. Average of 3,090 feet per second. Extreme spread of 18.7 and standard deviation of 6.4. I had one flyer that was a short distance away, and the rest were all in the same hole pretty much. We're going to go see that right now. So this target is, of course, backed by plywood, and when it gets hit, it tends to splinter out and it damages the paper in a weird way. So for example, that is one single projectile, all right? This is 4 projectiles right there. So that's a pretty small hole. In comparison, here's a quarter. And if I put that quarter right there as I fumble with the camera, you can clearly see that's pretty small. Chances are, because it's kind of L-shaped, that I had 2 right beside each other. When I shot those, they seemed like they were touching. Another one just slightly low, and then another one right in the center of that whole group. So again, that's 4 shots, and that's 1 shot, and these are 1/4-inch grid here. So that's not too bad. Again, we're at 100 yards. I lasered this, it says, from the edge of the bench to the face of the target is 103 yards by my laser, but that's not bad for factory ammunition. I'll bring the specs up here next. I apologize for how ghetto this is, but this is just a quick and dirty here of my screen, recorded with my iPhone here. But here's that bullet, and that loaded ammunition, I should say. The 300 Win Mag 195 grain ELD match, loaded factory ammunition, part number 82180. Again, I bought that for just under 60 bucks for 20. Hornady is reporting that I should see 2,930 feet per second at the muzzle. Now I'm seeing nearly 3,100 feet per second. Nearly 170 feet more than what we got right here. I attribute that for the fact that they are shooting out of a 24-inch barrel and getting that, and I'm shooting out of a 30-inch barrel, and that's probably the difference, because I always see much higher velocities with this gun. I really liked this ammunition, especially liked how consistent it was, and I'm very interested in the bullet, because I ultimately want to clone this ammunition and play with it and optimize it for my gun. And that's the whole reason why I'm making this video. I'm trying to give anybody who has one of these 110 Elite rifles the best possible chance to save as much money and time as possible and while getting a good round. So this bullet here, the gun really seems to like this, the 195 grain ELD match. The bullet, the individual component, is Hornady 30951, and again 30 cal 308 195 grain ELD match. And it's got a BC, a G7 BC of 294. Now I measured these, and I actually took a couple of them down. to get everything and all the specs and all that. I'll share that with you in a moment here, but take a peek at this here real quick. So using the Berger stability calculator, I put all of the specs in for this particular bullet as well as the gun, and it is coming up with a very stable round, an SG of 1.82. So that's pretty good. Under these same characteristics, the 220 grain version of this bullet is somewhere in this range here, greater than 1.5, but not 1.82. So this appears to be a better fit. Slight tangent here, I will tell you that the Sierra Match King, this guy right here, on paper actually has a very similar stability factor here, on this calculator. I have not tried it yet, but that's going to be one of my next tests. So let's look at the data, the Garmin Zero data. So if you haven't used the Garmin Zero, there's a really cool feature. You can export right from the app, right from your phone with one button to a CSV. And I use Dropbox, and I saved it right to my Dropbox. I get that Dropbox synced to this computer. It immediately shows up here. No messing around with SD files or anything. So, just quick credit where credit's due, because the Garmin guys really did a good job here. So all I did here is open up the spreadsheet, grabbed those cells right there. I went to insert, hit recommended chart, picked the line chart right here. You can see my velocities right here. If you recall a moment ago, I showed you the target and there was a flyer. This is the flyer right here. Notice clearly outside of the general range here. Strangely, it was higher on the target. It was also, it had a little bit of windage drift to it as well. That could have been me pulling, but I think that's anomalous. I think there was something weird with this one. But again, 3,090 feet average, standard deviation is 6.4, which is incredible for factory ammunition, an extreme spread of 18.7. There were a couple minutes between each of these here so that the barrel had time to cool. I try to keep real close track of that with a timer, but not every time does it always work out that they're all the same. So as I mentioned, I did take a couple of these down and I got some averages here. So this ammunition, the case overall length is 3.33. Sammy Spec Max is a little longer than that, so we're a little less than max. The brass itself comes in at 2.597. The bullet, again, is 30951. That's the part number. You can easily look this up. One of the things that you can't super easily look up, although there are charts out there, I measured a few of these. These the bullet length itself came out to 1.456, which is important to that calculator. Now, it has 68.92 grains of powder. The powder is a stick powder. It is the same exact shape as something like H4350 or H1000. However, I am quite confident it's neither of those. The color is a little more silverish gray than either of those. I'm not sure which powder it is, so it's a mystery powder, but there's 68.92 grains in there on average. And I also popped the primer out, and the primer is not a primer I'm familiar with. I have Federal 215 Match, I have Remington primers, I have Winchester primers, and I have CCI primers. And the color codes on the primer that came out of there was a purple and yellow, and it was all yellow with one little blop of purple on it, and I don't have any that look like that. So I don't know which primer it is either, but I'm wondering if I can recreate a round that's moving at around that speed using something like Stable HD, H1000, or even possibly Reloader 22. I think I'm going to try with Stable HD, but that'll be another video at some point in the future. So hopefully this helps you guys. Again, that's my only intention here, is to try to lend a hand to anybody trying to make ammo for the Savage 110 Elite. All right, have a great day.